Hello. So first, a few disclaimers. This video isn't scripted. Um, English is not my first language, and I'm like extremely shy, so this is like so difficult for me. But anyway, okay. So I'm gonna tell you about a story of a bit of my journey, right? Of how I've been studying Japanese for almost 8 years since now, and I have been presented with opportunities to go in with scholarships to Japan, and I'm going to show you how I failed them. Because that's life, I guess, right? Okay, so the first one was when I only had like 2 or 3 years studying in Japanese, so I wasn't that good at the time. So yeah, the process was like a two-part process, right? The first one was you had to write, I think it was a four-page essay in Japanese of how you started learning Japanese and why you started learning. The second phase was if you were chosen by your written essay, you have to do an interview in Japanese with the people that give you the scholarship to go to Japan, right? And I was like, well, I won't lose anything trying. So yeah, also our teacher, our Japanese teacher encouraged us. So at that time in my class, we were like 5 or 6 people, and two of us applied, right? Me, which at the time I was 15, I remember that, and my friend who at the time was 19. Yeah, so we both applied, and yeah, the essay was like really long, so our teacher was like, "Oh, you should come to my house, and we should check it together because I might be able to help you writing because it was a really long essay, right?" And like I mean, we knew, but we didn't know that much of Japanese, so just to write like a four-page essay ourselves, which we kind of did. Like the teacher just was like, "This doesn't sound like that good. You should do like this and that." Like we, well, at least I spent like a whole day writing that thing. So yeah, I gave my best at that. And yeah, so yeah, the day came, the teacher helped me, and we started, right? Me and my friend, we both got chosen to go to the next phase, was the interview. And then in the interview, like mind you, I didn't know that much Japanese, and speaking with someone, especially if they're asking you questions, stuff like that, oof, things can go wrong like so easily. But to be honest, I don't remember that much of that interview. I just remember that it went like not that bad, honestly, and it didn't go bad at all. Actually, it was like good. I felt like comfortable. The vocabulary they used was like really simple and whatever, right? And my friend told exactly the same thing. We were like, yeah, this is like okay. Then the day comes and we both receive our emails, and I was not selected, but my friend was. And yeah, so the email we received was full in Japanese. So like, it's a you were accepted or that you were declined in Japanese. So we weren't that sure, and I didn't want to use like Google Translate because that can go wrong too. So our teacher was like, "Oh, you should send it to me." And yeah, we sent it to her, and yeah, she told me like, "Oh, like you didn't pass." Like, and she always speaks in Japanese with us, right? And I remember she spoke in Spanish with me, which is my first language, right? And she was like, "I cannot believe it. Like, I was betting that you, if one of you were going to be chosen, it was going to be you, like me, right? Instead of my friend, because my friend is like really good, but I started studying Japanese like a bit, um, a bit. I've been studying Japanese a bit more than him, just a bit, right? Oh, he's really good too, but yeah, she was like, yeah, because on your essay, your vocabulary was like so good and so fluent and whatnot, right? Anyway, the thing is, yeah, we were like equally matched, but we ended up in a conclusion that they didn't choose me because I was 15 years old, and everyone, well, not everyone, like out of 10 people that were chosen for that scholarship, I think eight were older than 18. which is, and I was like, well, maybe that was it, right? To this day, I'm still not sure if it was my age or my capacities, right? Um, yeah, so that was a bummer, but yeah, and then like, 'cause I've gotten so much better at Japanese that I wanted to play again, but that scholarship ended. Like they did it every single year up until 2 years after I applied. So I lost my chance forever. The second time I tried to apply for um, a Japanese scholarship was when I was about to enter university, and that that was the first reason I started learning Japanese because I wanted that scholarship. And yeah, so they came. I traveled to Mexico City, and yeah, I presented all the exams. And the Japanese one wasn't that hard, honestly. They say that you didn't have to know Japanese to apply for that scholarship. However, they test all of us on Japanese, and it was like a really long exam of Japanese. A lot of people like received it and went out and didn't even try because it was impossible, right? Um, yeah, I didn't feel that that was really hard. Honestly, the hard test was math. Oh my god, that's the hardest that I've ever faced in my life. And yeah, actually, the day of that exam, I found a friend who was also applying for that scholarship, and we didn't talk about it like not even once. So yeah, we were both there and went like this math exam is like next level. Like you have to apply 3 or 4 times just to get it right because of course they change it every year, but the things that they touch in that example is so difficult. Well, anyway, yeah, so that was like my second chance at being able to earn a scholarship to go to Japan, which is like my ultimate dream, right? And I failed it again. However, up to this day, I'm still studying Japanese because I feel really passionate about that language. You can even see like a puzzle I have there of a geisha, right? I really like the culture and everything, but yeah, I haven't stopped studying even though I failed, and that goes to show that failure only means that you're trying. And yeah, I've been trying, and if I get presented with more opportunities like those ones, I will accept them because, well, most of the time I have nothing to lose rather than a ticket plane or whatever, right? Um, yeah, and this, well, I chose this story to talk to you about it because I feel that it is very important for people because I get when people um find out that I'm studying Japanese, I was like, oh, so like, why? What's the reason? I'm like, there's no reason. I just really like the culture and whatever, right? And I have so many friends that want to start learning a new language, but they don't. They just don't. They start making up excuses like, oh, I don't have time, and I'm like, oh, that's alright. You can take a class of 1 or 2 hours a week, and like just do a little review at least once a week or whatever, or watch shows. And also a little disclaimer: I didn't start studying Japanese because I like anime or something like that. Which, like, don't get me wrong, that if you start learning Japanese because you like anime, that's really cool. But it just wasn't my case. It was the other way around. Actually, I started studying Japanese, and then I was like, I should watch shows and that, right? And I was like, oh, anime is like really popular and fun, right? I should give it a try. And yeah, I got hooked. I really like it now. But yeah, that wasn't the reason why I started. This only reason I started is because I was genuinely intrigued by it. I really like that language, that culture. Yeah, it just drove me in. And yeah, back to my point. Like, you shouldn't care what people say about you, because I don't tell anyone. Like, yeah, I've had like a really big opportunity and I messed it up twice, right? And I don't know. I would feel that many people would be will feel left out with that. They'll be like, yeah, like maybe it's time to quit or whatever. I'm here to tell you, don't. If you like something and have the time, money, effort that you can spend on learning it, please do. Like, I know I failed, but I'm still trying, and up to this day, like Japanese has opened a lot of doors for me, and I really wish that graduating university I can do something with it. You know, like going to study something or even going to work. One guy in my classes, he started sorry, before me, right? Yeah, he started before me, so he knew a bit more than me. He's now working in Japan as a video game developer, and that's awesome. That's awesome. He's living there. Like, that's my goal. So yeah, I hope I can make it someday, right? So yeah, when people ask you, "Oh, why are you doing it?" and if your answer is because I like it, and they'll be like, shouldn't you be like studying Chinese because it's way more useful, or I don't know, German because that maybe you can use. Um, thank you for your concern, I guess, but this is my life. I like it, and I'm really passionate about it, so I'm gonna continue with it. That's my story. Thank you very much.